Welcome to Comic Fanatic 2.0 on our Barbie night.
Hey,
Yay! The long
Barbie.
await. Go
I
Barbie.
I can.
Mm, it's your
Yeah,
Barbie world.
Hey
we're just
Siri,
gonna. We should probably let people come in if they're going to. If not, we'll just get started in a couple minutes. So
I literally just tweeted and posted the Instagram thing. We barely have any followers as it is, so we gotta
yeah,
give it a moment.
Gotcha.
yeah. But talk about your life story up to this point. What inspires you?
Oh,
Wow, really?
spite,
Okay.
spite. There we go, spite.
We
I live
we,
out of
we have.
spite.
All elite wrestling. Does that
Yeah.
count?
I
Does
saw.
wanting does loving and fighting vampires count for anything?
hmm
I saw an NXT wrestling match the other day. So,
Oh man, honestly, Dominic is the best thing that ever happened to NXT.
Mysterio? That is that the
Yeah.
Mysterio kid? Yeah. I saw him
Yeah.
last night with his girlfriend or wife, whatever. I don't know.
His mommy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I swear, everybody was like saying, he's not that good of a wrestler. He should be in NXT. And he's like, okay, fine. I'm going. If you guys want me in NXT, fine. I'm going to be champion on my first day.
And was he?
Yeah,
Slay, go off.
damn, leave his mark.
I'm
You all
just
thought he
letting
was
you
a
guys
joke.
know now. Just for anyone, the outfit that my character is wearing is actually inspired by the real outfit I wore to go see the Barbie movie. You guys
No.
saw it. Some people on my personal socials have seen it, but I don't know who else is going to be watching this, so you know.
not that you can see it, but you know,
Yeah, no. I posted it on my socials.
Mm,
You got to dig for that shit.
yeah.
gotcha.
I'll see if I can get them now. But yeah, you know what? We got a whole movie to talk about. So
Woo!
Alrighty, let's go for it. Who wants to start off?
I
uh,
loved it.
I think I'm in the middle of both of you. So I'll go. I
hmm
like the movie. I didn't. I think anybody who's watched it in my Discord server, which you cannot join, don't ask. Uh,
You can join mine
really,
though.
really loved the movie. I just liked it. I have some problems with it, but all in all, I think it is a good movie. I think that third act, for the most part, is very solid and has a really cool message at the end.
Yeah.
Uh, that's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Also, you got to remember this movie's not going to be targeted towards everyone is targeted towards a very specific group of people.
Yeah.
hmm
All right.
Which
Krypton. Oh,
open up? Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it a lot. I had some good giggles. I related to Alan on a little bit of a personal level. Um, Spoiler alert: we got Earring Magic Ken, but we already knew that. I was not expecting it, but hey, I was wrong, and I'm happy that I was wrong. So
hmm
my outfit was actually inspired by that fit that he wore. So we stand gay Ken in this house.
Yeah.
But in reality, I am an Alan that dresses up as a Ken.
Gotcha.
Now, I low key kind of related to this movie in my own way. You know,
hmm
I didn't grow up with a lot of Barbie. I didn't grow up with a lot of dolls in general because of personal reasons, familiar reasons. You know, yeah,
hmm
my life was my childhood was complicated. I only remember like bits and pieces of it, which probably is the trauma. But honestly, who knows? But no, I really enjoyed myself in this movie. Um, I love the messaging in it. You know, and I don't care what Ben Shapiro or any of those toxic dude bros are saying. This is not a movie hating on men. It really isn't. And if you think it is, you miss the entire point of the movie.
hmm Okay. Now
And
to
you
give
don't know
my
how to have fun.
All right. Now to give my thoughts on the movie. You know, I don't make my opinions like, a secret when I when I voice my opinions on how men are being treated in modern movies these days. And, when it came to Barbie, I was figuring, let's have fun with this. Coming in, expecting to happen to be smothered in rainbows and pink and a whole bunch of girly stuff, which is what you should expect out of a Barbie movie, right? And, hearing some stuff, some early spoilers made me a little hesitant, I'll admit, coming into this film, thinking, oh boy, please don't go that route. but you know what? It was actually an enjoyable film.
What?
Like,
What?
like I liked what they did with Ken. Like,
Oh my!
oh god, like, like,
Oh, that
no,
was.
so
Yay! You hear that,
Listen,
look,
Austin?
not to say that, like, there definitely were some truth to some of the things about this movie, some spoilers, but you know what? Some of the enjoyment of this film, like, flooded any of the negatives, coming into this film, and that was just my opinion. Yeah, yeah.
Cryptid. That was the big. Oh my god! I thought this was gonna
I
be a
was
whole
legitimately shocked.
night.
I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna be like, I hated this movie because
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
mean
know
that.
how to have fun, and I'm cryptid.
Yeah, I mean that's why I wanted to go see it a second time to see. Okay, is my opinion solid on this film, or did it change? No, it's
I agree.
enjoyable.
I agree with
Uh,
Austin in the chat. We all know that you should have hated this film.
Oh
I
yeah.
am in shock right now.
I'm
this
I'm a
was.
fan of I'm a fan of Ken and coming out of this. I like
Can
the story angle they went with him.
Yeah, no,
I
I
thought.
agree. I For a moment I thought that he and the other Kens were gonna be like the main villain. But in my personal
Yeah,
opinion, I don't think anyone was like a main villain. Like, yeah, we had like our
like
mini antagonists, but it wasn't anything crazy. But the real villain of this story is the patriarchy.
Jake, you want to say
Okay, so
something?
audience, just for a little bit of background, there are certain movies I feel like I just know when Cryptid's gonna hate them. I could have sworn this one. There was build up the whole week to this moment, so this
I was
reveal.
like,
Oh my god.
I am not gonna be here and listen to Barbie slander. But when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
This was the biggest plot twist. Not no wonder you went
Biggest
off.
plot twist more than anything in the movie.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
but
Okay,
I should
but
get out my Ken doll that I have. I have like one Ken doll from the 70s. You
amazingly
know,
enough,
Rabbit.
after this movie, I actually did want to pick up a Ken doll, but it will have to be the one from, like, the last half of this film where he has the fur coat and everything, the abs and the six pack. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the people watching this can see the picture, the drawing I did, but you can
no.
definitely see it on the socials. Um, that's what Cryptid is wearing. He is wearing that specific fur coat. He was wearing a
Yeah.
different coat, as you can see in the alternate version. But no, I was like, hey, Jake and Cryptid, what did you want to wear? And um, that's what I was told to draw. And for Austin, you are mostly in the trunk of the car for personal safety reasons because I knew that I was going to be driving chaotically.
Hmm.
And yeah, I literally speed run this art piece for you guys. So, and yeah, and I don't, for all the audience just coming in, the outfit that I'm wearing, my character's wearing in this art is similar to the one that I wore when I went to go see Barbie.
But enough about that because we actually have to get into the movie.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
let's start off with the beginning. I think the beginning is actually pretty great. It's a great opening for a Barbie movie. It's kind of what you would
Hmm.
expect.
Yeah.
I do like. I'm trying to remember the order of this movie. I really should have rewatched this again, but I'm just gonna go by what I remember. You guys can correct me. I do like that in the beginning they kind of talk about the history of Barbie and
Hmm.
how it was a tool to kind of tell little girls that, hey, you can be more than just a cook in the kitchen. You
Hmm.
can do anything you want.
Like,
Um,
it had a good commentary, like with that line saying that Barbie could be anything, but that just shows girls that they could be anything too growing up. I get behind that message.
yeah. Um, I think that it was really cool and how that flipped on its head halfway through the movie when you find out that, well, that's might have been what the initial point of Barbie was, but that's not what it became in the future. In the future, it just wound up
Hmm.
being a way for girls to really feel like, they can't be good enough, you know. Um, which
Which that was the point of another character, which we'll talk about later when I talk about her.
well, I'm not into Barbie lore. I was never into Barbie or Ken, so I don't know how this reflected on actual little girls. Or actual women of today. So I would
I,
be curious to know how they felt. But
I think this movie does a good job in bringing all aspects of the Barbie fandom into one, both the negatives and the positives. like even displayed within the citizens of Barbie Land. You even have that one Barbie there who got messed up as if, by a female Sid from Toy Story, you know?
Oh yeah, weird Barbie. Hey,
Yeah. Fun,
everyone who owned a Barbie when they were a kid, or any doll in general, has a
fun,
weird Barbie in
funny
some
enough,
way, shape, or form.
one of my close friends, she hates Barbie, and her family kept giving her so many Barbie stuff growing up, and she took pride in knowing that, like, the weird Barbie was her Barbie growing up because she just messed the crap out of them. So that
Yeah,
just goes to what I'm saying. All sides of the fandoms are here.
yeah.
Yep.
I think Margot Robbie and what is it Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Ryan
Yep.
I think
Gosling is Ken.
I think they did both an amazing jobs in their roles. They were pretty. It felt pretty obvious casting. I did like how the Kens, which was kind of like true to the lore because that's the point of the Barbie. The Kens play
Yeah.
second fiddle to the Barbies. So
Always.
I like that I like that twist. That actually gave layer to Ken, who was just a very vanilla character to begin with. You know.
yeah,
I feel like they kind of had like a situation of White Wolf and Wakanda in this movie, where Ken, like, hey, there's one reason and one reason only why someone like me could never rule over Barbie Land. You know.
yeah. Um, I think it was cool too because his only purpose as that version of Ken was to be in love with Barbie, but Barbie has no interest in him. So if he doesn't
That
have her
part
affection,
That
you know,
part kind of confused me a bit because you're telling me there's not one Barbie in Barbie Land that ever hooked up with a Ken?
I I don't think they
Like,
have to.
no, I'm pretty, like, those two were literally made for each other. Like, I would imagine there had to be at least one couple, like, in Toy Story 3, right? Like, the moment Barbie saw Ken for the first time, it was an instant click. Maybe you could have had, like, one pairing of Barbie and Ken in Barbie Land who said, yeah, there may be differences between both of us, but we found each other?
Yeah, yeah, true. And like I said, I don't know the lore of Barbie, so I don't really know how deep this goes. I just know there were a lot of references that just kind of went over my head. Um,
Hmm.
so maybe they could have. I think it all worked in service of the plot that the Kens were the second class citizens.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That
Yeah,
just that
like
just
this
made
is
it
our real
all
world.
yeah,
yeah, that just made it all the more funnier when you actually did get them into the real world and Ken is like, "Oh my God, guys are treated nothing like they are treated in Barbie world."
I guess we could get to the real world. Okay, I gotta admit, maybe you guys understand more than me. I don't understand the rules of the Barbie world being affected by the human world. I get whatever happens in
I,
Barbie affects the real world. I don't get the other way around. So
uh, think of it as an imagination land and they're just making up their own rules,
yeah,
you
I
know?
guess so. It's just that Barbie has never had suicidal thoughts until that one girl drawing Barbie thought of that. I'm like, you can't be the only person who had to deal with this. You know what I mean?
Well, keep
Hmm.
in mind, Barbie is not the only, like, stereotypical Barbie wasn't like the only one who went to the human world. Remember, like, Skipper also went to the human world.
Oh, and apparently the
Alan
back
tried to go to the human world.
Yeah.
apparently the crew from InSync, they were all former Allens in Barbie world.
Uh, yeah. I
Also,
also
speaking of Alan, real quick, I just loved this character so much. Like, Michael Sarah literally was like, "I'm going to embody this role like it's my, like, life depends on it." I loved it.
Oh.
I do think I think what I really like more too is how like when we get to the real world too, Barbie sees the world is a bit different. I do okay, so here's where my problems initially start coming with in the movie. There's a common criticism that the movie ham-fist its message. I
That's
think
the
in the
point.
third act, it
Mm.
didn't bother me as much. In the second act, I was like, okay, some of this stuff is like,
I
like
think that's
I,
supposed
I
to be the point, though.
I
I did kind of find it confusing that when the Kins came back to Barbie world, right? And they kind of bulked themselves up, became more macho, but then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, all the Barbies started turning into bimbos. I'm
well,
like, wait, how did that correlate?
Yeah, they got brainwashed or something. I kind of
Yeah,
threw that
that's
aside.
literally what happened. They were brainwashed by the
Yeah,
patriarchy.
I think my
They literally in the third act that they literally had a whole thing where they had to unbrainwash all the Barbies.
I think I didn't have a problem with it per se. That part, my problem was like she goes to the real world and like it's people are staring at her, which yeah, she's either dressed weird or she's an attractive woman in society.
Hmm.
Then a guy comes up behind her and slaps her in the ass, and I'm like, okay, come on now. That's in broad
Nah,
daylight in
nah.
front of everybody. Come on now.
Hey,
That's,
I think you
In Venice
underestimate
Beach,
some people
in
in our society. I think you
in
underestimate
Venice,
people.
in Venice Beach,
is that
People
common
are
there?
still people
like
are
there's
normal
a
people.
no, there's a lot of sideshow attractions in Venice Beach. That's the thing, you know. So seeing someone dress up like Barbie or Ken, it wouldn't be that odd, you know.
Oh yeah, that was kind of getting me. Um, I didn't really like the little girl. I mean, I liked her on her own. I like her message and what she represented for the film. I just thought she was a
Sasha?
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought she was a bit much at the beginning.
Oh,
But
oh, even by the end, where her father's trying to talk to her in Spanish, saying "si se puede," and she's like, "That's cultural inappropriation, Dad." And I'm
yeah,
like, wait a minute. So it's offensive to be talking in the language of someone else?
No,
right.
Like
no.
that's a little
Then you
extreme.
forget this girl's entire character. But you know what? We're just gonna move on from that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
but
first,
Um,
I didn't like Sasha's character until the end. Like, especially with that one comment. I think it was supposed to be kind of joking in a way. But no. But like at first, I just thought her character was annoying as all hell. But then once she got to Barbie Land with her mom, she did start to lighten up a bit, and I was like, oh,
I
thank goodness. And I've
I
seen a
actually
lot of people trying to say that Sasha and her friends are supposed to represent the brats and like the from the MGA brand, and I'm like, maybe. I don't
I would
know.
I would say they represent the side of like, modern day girls that feel Barbie is just way too girly to
yeah.
be playing with. Because honestly, the way they reacted to Barbie, minus a couple of buzzword languages, is actually how my niece reacts to Barbie.
Okay.
Like, you know?
Um, which I think that all led to one of my. I guess we could go into this too. The mom. Um, I liked her character. She was pretty fun for what
I
she was, but I think she did. She said a speech. I think She Hulk wishes it could do.
No, 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 no.
I
Because
Wait,
like
no, wait, wait,
I
wait,
like
wait,
the
wait, wait, wait.
mom.
Wait, guys,
I
guys,
like the
guys,
mom.
guys. Her speech was better than anything that Gravik did in Secret Invasion.
yeah, she says a whole speech about women, and like I've heard all these things before in other shows and movies, but like the way she says it and describes it, I'm like, yeah, that does.
Hmm.
I was like, I get it now. So, um, I
She,
remember,
I, go
I
ahead.
remember, I remember. I was watching this with my friend Tony, and when he heard that speech, he was like, "Yeah, this is my favorite movie of the year."
I've never seen Oppenheimer. I don't need to see Oppenheimer to know that this is going to be
you
better.
know, you know the point where I really did like her character was, when Barbie comes into the real world and she automatically thinks like it's the little girl that's suffering the crisis, right? But then you come to find out, no, it's not the little girl, it's actually the mother. And I think that was a nice little nod to the fandom because, Barbie, it will be more closely associated with a person of a mother's age as opposed to modern day little girls, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, more people. Keep in mind, like I'm not 100% sure on the Barbie sales pre this movie
Hmm.
because I don't tend to buy a lot of Barbies. It's not
Yeah.
not my personal aesthetic. But nowadays, I see a lot more people when it comes to dolls buying like Rainbow slash Shadow High and Monster High because they are more high quality dolls for decent prices. Which a lot
Hmm.
I know like Barbies are supposed to be like a lot of them are tend to be a budget doll, quote unquote. But it's like, come
Hmm.
on, you can give Barbie some articulation. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like you can give them some elbow and some knee articulation.
Yeah. But I think that's why I really think also another thing I like too, which is someone who's like just been on the internet a long time. When the Kens take over, and all the things that they do, and they basically break it down to like, yeah, despite all the machoism, despite all the wanting to be in charge and everything, all they really want is approval of the Barbies.
That's
Yeah,
all they want.
man.
And I thought that
Like,
it,
yeah, their Mojo Dojo Casa houses are pretty cool, but
I
and
still,
if you
love
come on.
that.
Validation is great too.
yeah,
You know,
and if
I
you
want. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and if you've been on the internet long enough, you might have heard of the red pill community, basically. And that's
Hmm.
essentially the same thing as the Kens. It's just like played up for laughs in like a comedic way. But it's the same type of rhetoric, how they want to treat women, how they really would rather it be. And like traditional women serving the
Mhm.
beer and doing all this other stuff, you know? But when you break it
And,
down, all they really want is a woman's approval, despite how much they
and
want to
not
say of women, you know?
and not
Not
just that, but
Sims.
they
Just kidding.
and not just that, but they also do want to be treated with respect
Yes.
because I
Yeah,
find
just
like
like women
eh,
in the and other marginalized communities in the real
that
world.
No.
that's why it makes it like such a fun twist in this hierarchy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for God's sakes, the Kens, they're homeless.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, where
wow,
do they live? That's the real question.
they
They just
they
beach.
just live in the streets waiting for Barbie to wake up.
They just no cryptid. They just beach. That's it. They
I
just beach.
guess. Oh, what? Which? You try sleeping by the ocean at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
know it
I don't
sounds
live near the
like
ocean, cryptid.
like
I'm
what
landlocked.
I know for the audience that sounds romantic, but it's cold as heck during the nights, and the water just gets that much more colder. So
Also, sand sucks. I
yeah.
hate sand.
I think another thing I like too, because this movie has a message for women and Barbie as a whole, but also has a message for men too. And I think it's really
Yeah.
important. I think Barbie's speech to Ken, like, work on yourself. You are more than just the approval of somebody else. You have to be
Mhm.
approving of yourself, and that's how you'll be
And,
better.
Fact.
You
But
know?
and keep in mind, men also need positive representation too, which
they
there's
always
always
get
a
positive
point.
representation. What are you
And
talking about?
Yeah.
um,
They always
yeah,
do.
I like the fact that like even by the end, like when they got Barbies all back together, right? They still wanted to at least have one Ken up in the Supreme Council in the Supreme Court justice system, as representation,
Okay, I actually have a recommendation on if they would give a representative for all the Kens. So if you guys remember the weird Barbie crew, so there were two Kens throughout the entire movie that were on the Barbie side 100%, right throughout the
Hmm.
whole movie, and that was Sugar Daddy Ken and Earring Magic Ken. I feel like one of those two plus Alan should be the representative of all the Kens slash Alan.
Maybe. I think
Hmm.
I think with the Kens thing, I understand what they want. I also like the Barbies didn't give them a lot of power because I mean, as much as I like the Kens, they are kind of idiots. so
Yeah,
I
they're all kind of idiots.
so
Yeah,
I get the Ken
I
have
love
super.
them though.
Yeah, I love them to death. But
Hmm.
I think the whole finale part was great. I even think, and then the third part of the movie, like the third ending, the third message of the movie about the main Barbie and her wanting to be like real and have real experiences and stuff like that. And that whole moment, I'm like, oh my god, this is great. So this took a
That
deep.
scene hit, man. I almost cried at that scene,
It
bro.
took a deep existential turn. I was like, oh my god, I didn't expect this from Barbie. That just got a hit. So you
Hmm.
know,
I mean,
um,
but no, the fact that no. So you remember that scene where Barbie and Ken are in the real world and they're trying to find the person who is causing stereotypical Barbie to be like how she is right now, and
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
sitting next to that old woman. So fun
Oh.
fact, that's the daughter of the original creator of Barbie.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's nice and sweet. Like the moment where Barbie just goes and tells her, "You're beautiful," as she's
Yeah.
It's
saying,
like
"I
I
know
know
that." Oh, so
we
sweet,
stand some
Thunder.
self confidence. Okay, I'm working
Hmm.
on it.
I like the
Hmm.
yeah, I like how there were the three messages in the movie too. I can admit that at times it was a little ham-fisted. I would say it was ham-fisted in the second arc, the second act. I think a lot of the messaging was kind of like, this kind of seems eh. But I think what really carries you through that, even if you're not enjoying the message at first, is the comedy because this movie is hilarious.
It's
It
so
is.
funny.
So
I
It's
like seeing
so funny.
John Cena pop up. Like
yeah,
when all the Kens
You know,
bring in like,
there was kind of like one little joke ish type thing that I didn't really like that much. It was the scene where stereotypical Barbie was showing her flat feet to the other Barbies, and then one of them just screams out flat feet. I didn't think that was like super funny, but I like the transition over to Barbie going up to Weird Barbie's house.
Mhm.
Also, the
One
thing with the
joke.
dog crap was hilarious because I remember that specific toy was advertised to me. I remember that ad. That's how much.
Wow.
Yeah.
One joke that I really liked was when she was looking for, that little girl in the real world, right? And she thought she would meet fellow Barbies, so she goes to that construction site. She sees all the men weren't having lunch, and she's like, "Where's the construction workers?" They're like, "We're the construction workers, but you're not Barbie." Like, okay, I I
Also,
give
the
that.
line, like the lines where she's talking about how they don't have genitalia, that was hilarious. I thought that was
Yeah.
funny as hell,
Oh
and
man.
that really played into like one of the last scenes of the movie.
I
I
gotta
think
be honest. I gotta be honest. I Google searched what she meant by that at the end of the movie because I didn't know what that was.
What,
Like,
the fact that they don't have genitalia?
no, no. She went to a gynecologist. I'm like, wait, what's a
oh
gynecologist? Like,
Do you not
I
know what a
think
gynecologist is, Cryptid?
no,
like
no,
You don't know
like
what
I
a
said,
gynecologist is?
no. I don't go to those things.
Yeah, you don't have to go to those things to know what it
I
is.
mean, it doesn't mean you will know what they are though. Um,
Hmm.
What the fuck?
I think that like I said, I think the comedy really carries you through. There are a lot of moments in the act two where I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm not really sure how I feel about this message here because they're just kind of stuff I've heard before. But every time I was a little bit down on the movie, a joke would instantly come in. I just start laughing. I'd be like, oh shit, that's
Also,
funny. So,
I love the comedy, but I also love the set and costume design too. Like
Oh
those were
yeah.
like those. If anything carried the movie, it was that.
you know what else?
Oh
You know who else carried the movie in the second act too? Will Ferrell. That's his name, right?
Okay. Oh my
yeah.
god, can I talk about these guys real quick? Can I
Yeah.
talk about the Mattel people real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So when we first got advertised for this movie, we thought that those guys were going to be the main villains, right?
Yeah.
They just wanted, like, they really weren't, and I was pleasantly shocked about that. I was like, okay, I can see what you're putting down, you know?
The
Hmm. There
every
was.
scene with him in it was hilarious, and even the chase scene where he's trying to go
Oh,
over
that was
the
funny.
tourniquet, that was
That was
funny.
like the one. That was one of the only few times where I was like, "Oh wow, Will Ferrell can actually be funny and not like following
Hmm.
a very
I was
specific formula."
Yeah.
I was a little bit on the edge of my seat, so like the fact that Mattel was like, yeah, you can use our names as the antagonist of the film,
Yeah.
like, oh wow.
Hey, Mattel could take a joke sometimes, okay?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I said, I think everything was good. I don't really think this movie needs a sequel, but if they find a way to make it work, that's fine.
They
Uh,
are just
yeah.
because it doesn't need a sequel doesn't mean we aren't going to get one, Jake. It
I
made
mean,
money.
Mattel already greenlit like several other movies based off
Oh,
different
I,
properties, and also later this year we're getting another Monster High live action movie
Uh,
from Nickelodeon. So
I wanted to get
it's
into that
possible.
as actually because one of those movies is going to be Hot Wheels, and you could do
They're
oh
you
making
could
a
man.
Magic 8 Ball movie, guys.
you could do
What?
you could do a lot with Hot Wheels. The more I was digging into the lore, you can. But what I would really like them to do is a Battle Force 5 Hot Wheels movie because that
I
would be so.
I heard some people talking online thinking that like Mattel's going to have the Mattel universe with Barbie, GI Joes, Turtles, all that stuff.
Wait, they don't know GI Joes, do they? Mattel?
I thought they did.
That
No, I
no,
thought.
Hasbro owns it. Hasbro.
Oh, Hasbro, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but apparently we're getting a Magic 8 Ball movie, and I was like, go off.
Mm.
but I
It's
would
supposed to
like,
be like a horror movie, I think.
but I would really like Hot Wheels. I mean, they could do the interdimensional race from the early 2000s Cartoon Network show, or they could do the Battle Force 5 version, which I really love that team. I really like to see them again. For those of you who don't know, Battle Force 5 was a team of five advanced drivers who will go across dimensions trying to collect battle keys to protect their world from like aliens from other dimensions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it was a really cool show on Cartoon Network. You could probably look it up on YouTube. But I really kind of want to see that adapted in live action. So, you know. Um, and then they were doing an Uno movie as well.
Oh yeah, I saw
Oh
that.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they were like so down
You know,
with a lot of these properties, and I was like, okay,
like
I'm
three
curious.
three quarters of those projects are going to wind up like Battleship did,
Mm.
a
We don't
financial
talk about
bomb.
that. We don't talk about
Listen, Battleship wasn't terrible. It was okay.
it. Just
Yeah.
wasn't good.
Hmm.
Uh, I think there was a way
Um.
Battleship worked, but
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, another thing I liked is they tried bringing as many of the different editions of Barbies that have existed over the decades. And
Dude,
they
they
had like
brought
some.
in video cam
yeah, if
Barbie.
you
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was also advertised to me as a kid. I
Yeah.
never had it, but I got it advertised. Same with the dog
Yeah.
one. And we got growing up Skipper as well. I was not expecting that either.
You're
We
about to
also
say
got
something,
Midge,
Jake?
which we already knew about Midge, but like I think that was still awesome that we got Midge in the first place. So
Hmm.
woo!
Hey, you were about to say something, Jake? Oh, did we just lose Jake?
Yeah, R.I.P. Jake.
Oh,
F's in the chat.
see if you could get in contact with him. But yeah, another one of the deep cut Barbies I liked was the fact that they brought in pregnant Barbie.
That's
Like,
Midge.
oh, that was Mitch. Oh, okay, I didn't know, but like, yeah, of course, there's been so many versions of Barbie over the years. You're bound to have a handful that have made their way into the banned list.
Okay, Jake got disconnected. Is on his way back.
Okay, gotcha. But
Just us.
man, can you imagine like the rough cut like Mitch had? It's because like because Mitch is pregnant Barbie. That must
Well,
mean
Midge is
she's
not Barbie. Midge is just Midge. Midge is Barbie's friend.
Midge's Barbie's friend, and that's the same pregnant Barbie, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that means Midge is pregnant Barbie for all eternity then.
Midge is not Barbie. Midge is just Midge.
Midge. All right, yeah. Sorry, I don't know
Barbie is
much about
Barbie.
my.
Midge is Midge. I'm kind of shocked. Like we got her referenced in the credits, but we never got Christy, who was
Mhm.
also one of Barbie's friends.
They're saving them for the sequel, which.
But if we can get Alan and Midge, I feel like we could have gotten a Christy somewhere.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Also, I have a question for you while we're waiting for Jake.
I'm
Hey,
right
you
here.
guys
Jake,
can answer this
yeah,
question too. I have a question for you guys. Would you rather have a Barbie dream house or a Mojo Dojo Casa house?
Mojo Dojo Casa House. Come on, witch.
Uh, I don't know. I have to think about it. I think I'll take the
dude,
Barbie dream house. I just like the
dude, dude,
Honestly,
I
they both have
already,
their ups and downs.
yeah.
like,
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Western related stuff, so I might have to
like,
go towards the Barbie dream house a little bit.
like I already have like the perfect setup in my mind. Like I would have a Ken doll, with fur coat and everything, along with a Deadpool figure on the side, along with Spider Punk on the top. Just make it as macho as wholly possible.
Hmm.
Like maybe bring in Macho Man.
Um, although I think it's impossible for me to really make up a plot. What would you guys like to see in a Barbie sequel? If they got to do.
Don't do that to me.
I
They would
I,
probably make it about Barbie's life in the real world. I guess you could say like full on as a human, but
or
honestly,
or maybe you do something with because Mattel promised they'd make a normal Barbie, like a normal girl Barbie. She just works. She's at the
see.
house. She cooks and cleans because that's what she likes doing. Just and it's enough.
So she's living alone in her house, for what you're
Yeah, I
telling me,
guess. And
right?
then maybe she has
Yeah.
to she has to learn to be the new main face of Barbie or something. I don't know. Something.
Okay, the new independent Barbie.
Yeah. So
Okay, I see some booby traps in that sort of plot
yeah.
cloud,
but
but
maybe we'll actually get more lore of Barbie Land. Maybe like human Barbie has to go back to Barbie Land for some odd reason.
oh no, here's what you do. Because there had to be a dozen Barbies that have been messed up by little girls in the past, you have an army of them rising up from the ashes, you know?
A
Maybe.
lot of weird
Like
Barbies.
Yeah.
you guys got to move on. You guys got to move up in the ladder of society, but look at us. What's left for us? This weird punk doesn't even have her legs. Oh
Like I
man.
said, I think this is this I think for Barbie it's so conclusive. I'm not really confident in any plot I could pitch, you know?
Hmm.
Um but I don't know. I was just curious because I know if they're making a sequel, I'm gonna be like, well, about what? Like what would the plot
Like,
be?
yeah, what would the plot be?
Right. You know?
Honestly, I
Um
think regardless, it's just going to be downhill from here if we do get a sequel. Like
yeah.
they,
'Cause everything
they,
Barbie could say, it said in this film.
yeah, pretty
I have
much.
a question for you guys though. Do you think this could be Oscar nominated worthy?
I don't I don't
I
Anything,
think
think
for
that's
anything
think that's a
specifically. It
stretch.
doesn't have to be for anything particular. Honestly, I think it could be nominated for best costume or best like set design.
Set design, I would go for honestly,
Because
because
keep
like,
in mind they use so much pink paint that there was a national shortage. Okay.
oh wow,
um
yeah.
I don't know. I like I said, I like the movie. I didn't love the movie like, a lot of people in like on our server did. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I just think the second act could have done better with introducing some messages, but it wound up turning itself around greatly in the third act. That was kind of my whole
Hmm.
thing. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Although I think it's a good movie. I was really impressed by it. I didn't expect it to kind of be literally the antithesis to Oppenheimer in every way.
Yeah.
I still need to go watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
still
you know
I
what I will
still
say?
see I still see a meme going online of Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory with his sister Dee Dee, and they're like saying, and people are saying this is Oppenheimer and Barbie, like
Yeah.
right
Where's
here.
the lie? Where is the goddamn lie?
I will say
Hmm.
this though. What I do like about this is basically wait, give me a second. Yeah, okay, I was checking the stream. But anyway, this is a once in a lifetime way of watching the movie. A lot of times I say that I don't really care about drama and when it comes to back behind the scenes in movies because it won't matter years later. But there will never be a moment where you can watch this movie at the same time as Oppenheimer in theaters. You know what I mean?
True.
Hmm.
That was our generation. No other generation will have this moment, this
Well, keep in
experience of
mind,
watching
there
Oppenheimer.
has been other versions of Barbenheimer in the past, and not just with movies, but like with music as well. Like
Yeah.
I saw a meme on Twitter. Well, it's now X, but I don't care. At the time, it was still Twitter, where it was like, "Oh, this like My Chemical Romance's Welcome to the Black Parade came out on this day, and so did Hannah Montana's freaking album came out in on the same day, and someone was like the original Barbenheimer, and I'm like, I agree.
But yeah,
Jake,
I just
it's funny you should bring up generations because I was actually having a talk with one of the guys at the collectible store I go to about Barbie. Do you guys think this movie is appropriate for a little girl to watch?
other
They
than
might
some
have
jokes, yeah.
questions, but honestly, I
Well,
think it'll be fine as long as the parent is there.
actually, I'm thinking about it.
Well,
Don't know.
12 years old at youngest, I would think, you
Because this is
know?
a
Yeah.
PG-13 movie.
No, well,
Mhm.
because here's the thing: none of the messages really are gonna attach to a girl who doesn't understand the world a little bit. you
Mhm.
know, uh,
Mhm.
I don't think like a small child is gonna understand the patriarchy, or like why the kids are acting the way they do, in the film, or the Mattel jokes. I don't really think that's gonna land. So I think yeah, 12 years old would probably be the
Mhm.
best. And of
Yeah.
course, you have jokes about how she doesn't have her private parts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think there's I don't think that. Ironically, I think Barbie was made for little girls in mind. Yeah, no.
Mhm.
So, but
Mhm.
uh, what about you, Cryptid? What do you think? 12? You think 12 years old?
At the youngest, I mean, this movie, I think, you have multiple generations that this will attach to.
Mm.
Girls of as young as 12 years old to girls that are in their motherhood to even grandmas, And I think that was one of the beauties of this movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, unless you guys have anything to say, final thoughts.
I really liked it. I would probably go
Hmm.
see this movie again with all of my friends.
I think other than the
Oh,
Barb, I think other than the Barbenheimer connection, the best part about this movie was the plot twist with Krypton.
I
Greatest
hmm
part.
know,
I would
right?
I'll go to Barbie World to hang out with my bros, the Kens. Just teach them,
Yeah, Krypton,
introduce
you're
them
a
to,
Ken. In reality,
and,
I'm an Alan that
and
dresses like a Ken.
I would further teach them all the ways of the man world, the
Oh,
pro
Yeah,
yeah.
wrestling, the Corona beer, all that monster trucks. Yeah, you guys
yeah.
just got your sample.
You have to be like
Oh,
Macho
Superman.
Man.
You have to be like Superman. You have to lead them into the sun. So they won't follow you.
No.
All right,
But
but
yeah, that's it.
uh,
That was our first live stream. So
yeah.
woo!
And
I think it
so
was funny because originally we were supposed to do this with Spider Verse, and then we just never ended up doing
we
it.
never did.
yeah, but we're going.
I think we might be able to do this again for other movies. That
Yeah,
way, less editing for the movie
yep.
review.
The
Yeah,
next
Um,
the
and we
next
can
time we're
actually
going.
like post the main videos
yeah,
alongside the live
Yep.
stream.
yeah.
The next time we're going to do a live stream won't be until the Dragon Prince season 5.
We're
So
not doing
yeah.
it. We're not doing it for TMNT.
I'm not gonna go see
We
TMNT though.
we could. Yeah, I just gotta watch it. Like it's either between TMNT or Meg 2, man. Don't make me choose
Uh,
this
You
week.
it's TMNT. Well,
just make
most of
your
us are
own video. Make your own video and post it on the channel. I'll draw some art for you, man.
cryptid. Hang on. Cryptid. You, Austin, and I are probably gonna be the only people seeing TMNT out of the group.
I'm not
Uh,
seeing it. I'm
yeah,
not a big TMNT person, but I would love to talk about Dragon Prince with you any day
yeah.
of the week.
Yeah, definitely.
I just
But
gotta finish it the first time. I have 2 more episodes.
All
live
right.
stream
So,
weeks mean that shorter episodes for the
yeah.
following week.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, um, I think also just so people know that the episode that we recorded last week will come out this week. I said Tuesday originally. I'm thinking Wednesday actually, late Wednesday. So
Mm-hmm.
but
So,
that
you
should
want
be
me
it.
to draw art for that, or do you just want to use the stuff that I already gave you?
I'm just gonna use the stuff I already gave you because you have to do the TMNT stuff. So
Gotcha. But
Oh,
anyway, we'll discuss that another
I don't. I'm
time.
not gonna be a turtle though. Is that okay?
there's humans in the turtles. Yeah,
I,
but we can discuss that
Yeah.
another
I don't want to
All
be a
right,
turtle.
guys. Let's wave goodbye to the audience. Thanks for
time.
joining us.
Goodbye.
We'll
Like,
talk to y'all
subscribe,
later.
Like,
comment.
subscribble. You get the deal.
Yay. Bye, guys.